See, we must understand this. Though India is one nation, there are at least 4 to 5 nations within India. Not everybody is in the same level of needs. There is a most affluent class in the country, there is a segment which is upper middle class whose aspirations are very different. There is middle class where it's always about how will our children get jobs and stuff. And there is rural and other dimensions which you're referring to, where it's only about somehow getting out of that social and economic pit in which they are. We cannot address all these categories as one. It is wrong to do that. In the name of uniform education, we are trying to do this. I understand the thought behind it, but it's not practical. It's because of this. Over $24 billion worth of education in India is going out to outside universities, because those who can afford, they don't want their children to study here because it is common class education. It's very important that we're able to provide for every segment of society. This is not to discriminate, this is not to segregate, but anywhere in the world it's like that. According to one's economic capabilities, different levels, whether you go to a restaurant or you take a bus or you take a train, there is first class, second class, third class, isn't it? Well, third class people won't be taken only halfway journey, they also travel full journey. Yes or no? Just because somebody gets into a third-class compartment, it's only a question of comfort and ambience and stuff, but the distance and the destination is same for first class and third class, isn't it? If you say we will make everything third class, a whole segment of people will not travel by train anymore, that's for sure. So, similarly in education, this is not about classes, I would not like to use the word class when it comes to education, but the needs are different. If we do not provide this, we will not create variety of human beings that we need for this nation's well-being. We need leaders, we need scientists, we need teachers, we need engineers, we need farmers, we need craftsmen, we need variety of people to make a nation happen. Right now, our entire education is actually oriented towards elite. Everybody is supposed to go to the university, that's how our education is constructed. Everybody need not go to the university. University is not a place to live. Like some people in Delhi, I hear till they're 40, they're living in the university. You must live in this universe, not in the university. So, the whole population aiming towards the university is not the right kind of education. This is this is the education designed by Her Majesty's Service. We have made some changes, but we need more drastic changes. I am saying, this may sound extreme to you, but what I am saying is, except the language, everything that the British left in the education has to go. Language is a passport to the world, we must keep the language. Everything else need to go because that was designed for a specific purpose. Where obedience is higher than intelligence, that's not the way to bring up our children. That is the way to bring up occupied population. When we occupy a nation, we want obedience. When we're raising our children, obedience is not what we want them to flourish. We want them to be more intelligent than us. Our children must be 2 steps ahead of us, isn't it? So if that has to happen, we have to craft this. Just to give you some sense of this, we're running 3 different types of schools. More as model schools so that these systems can be incorporated by everybody. We have one level of schools in rural India, in remote places where there is usually no proper education facility. These are called Isha Vidya schools. Here the focus is mainly to get them out of their economic and social conditions. They will never get out of those social conditions in which they are, unless you move them away in some way. They must have a passport to go anywhere they want, not stuck in the same place. Almost 46 to 47% of the children who are in our schools are first generation going to school. Their parents have never been to school. This education, at the age of 6, we start English language and computer usage, because these two are passports for them to step out. We have another school called Isha Home School. This is for the affluent, where it is run this way. 20 children will stay in a large household with 2 committed parents, and all education happens within the house, except for libraries, laboratories and playgrounds. Everything else is largely within the home kind of atmosphere. In a very caring, committed way, this process happens. The education is in a thematic way, in the sense, we always start the school when the monsoons are pouring, so the first, second, third standard always starts off with monsoon. We get them soaked in the rain, which parents never allow them to do. They really get through and through, soaked to the bone, and then we talk about the chemistry of monsoon, the other meteorological aspects of the monsoon, the economy of the monsoon, the psychological impact of the monsoon. Everything is from the monsoon, because you cannot ignore monsoon in southern India next to the Western Ghats. And when monsoon is happening, you're telling them E is equal to mc squared, it's not going to work. The children are interested in the rain, they think the sky is falling apart. This is the time to get them engaged in that. So this school is run in a certain way. This costs money. This kind of arrangement costs money, because for every 4.5 children, we have 1 adult taking care of them. So, on an average, I'm saying, this takes a very intense approach, and our maximum limit is only 340 children. Obviously, we cannot educate the whole country like this. It's just more like a model as to how it works, and it works in a brilliant way. You must come and see the children, how they shape up in these 12 years. Actually, I made 12-year education into 13 years. Because we have invested so much in art, music, theatre, sport, leadership, that when the children come to 11th standard, parents go marks mad. What about my child, where will he go, where will he go? So I said 1 year extra. So people told me, Sadhguru, who will leave their children for 1 year extra? They're eager, their children go to IIT, medical college, this one, that one. I said, this is the way it is. Those who want to withdraw, their children can withdraw. This happened 3 years ago. Not a single child was withdrawn. All the parents wanted their children to go through this. Because most of these parents are thinking of sending their children to, foreign universities, outside, overseas universities and things like this. 1 more year, they settle, they have a huge exposure to leadership qualities and variety of other things. In this school, we are beginning to do this. We wanted to start separate schools for this, but because we didn't have the economic strength to do it, within the school we are doing it. We identify about 12 children, a group of 12 children, when they're in their 7th standard, and we establish a mentor. Like let's say mathematics, we have a very high-quality mathematics mentor. He takes these 12 children from the age of 10, 11 to 17. 80% of the education is only mathematics, only 20% in the other curriculum they play around a bit. But these are only focused on mathematics. If we don't do this now, that our focus is not specialized, we are only thinking of… See, there was a time in 60s and 70s, we were thinking of literacy in this country. Because when the British left, our literacy was somewhere around 7% of the population, rest were illiterate. So our whole focus was how somebody can put his name on the paper. This was our focus. So to educate millions of people to one level is different. To come out with specialized focus towards children who are capable of that is different. If we don't do that, we will not have great scientists, we will not have great mathematicians, we will not have anything significant in the country, we'll have just a mass of people with the attitude of being educated without much education in them.